What's going on, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
What's up? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday, everybody. What's going on?
Happy Saturday. Welcome back to the Act Right Out Loud podcast.
Yes.
We are excited that you are here to join us for another great Saturday.
Yes, we are. We are happy to be here. I'm Jermaine.
I'm Tonja.
And we're your hosts.
And we are your hosts, and we are excited to be back. What did you just say?
I'm not sure why that was so funny.
Because we sometimes we say our names, sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Sometimes I rhyme slow, sometimes I rhyme quick.
How did I not know you were getting ready to say
because you know me.
Welcome back to a great episode, guys. Today we are continuing the Act Right Out Loud Act Right for the Holidays.
Act Right for the Holidays, yes. And these episodes have been absolutely amazing. I hope they have been a great help. That was our main focus, was to lend some holiday help. And I believe that we have a topic today. I believe it's going to help.
I think it's going to help. I've seen this topic floating around, since the beginning of November for the holidays. And I think it's one of the topics that it needs to be talked about.
Yeah,
we can offer some wisdom and some encouragement behind this topic. So what's the title, Doc?
Silent Night.
Ooh.
Silent Night. I know some of y'all probably start thinking about temptations and in my mind, but no. Seriously, Silent Night. This is what we want to talk about. Just really
navigating
holiday grief. Just a conversation about navigating holiday grief, because we realize and we understand that for some of you, this is the first holiday without a one of your parents, a spouse, a child, God forbid, just any kind of family members, and people. Sometimes they suffer silently throughout the holidays just because of the subject of grief.
Yeah.
And
they don't want to be a burden.
Right.
So sometimes we go into our corner and we isolate ourselves. So hopefully this episode will help you not get over grief, because we know grief does not have a limit as far as time.
Right.
But we want to be able to help you through
we do.
This holiday season that you may be grieving a loved one or a relationship.
This may be this is your first year doing the holidays by yourself because you are recently divorced or just got out of a bad breakup relationship. Grief is not just
losing somebody
in death. Grief can be triggered by you being with a person every day of your life for the past 15 years, and then something happens to where you guys are not together anymore.
Right.
So you're going to go through a grieving process as well. Yeah.
And I really want to encourage people to go through the grieving process, to feel what you're grieving, and so that you can understand it. And I'm not saying you need to hurry up and get over it. I would never tell anyone that, whether you've lost a loved one or you've lost a relationship. But I would like for you to understand that it can be done in a healthy way.
Absolutely.
In a way that it does not take over your life, and it does not isolate you from the people that you do still have on this earth. So let's dive into it.
Let's dive into it, because because you actually kind of touched it a little bit. And the first thing is acknowledge your feelings. Lean into that whatever it is that you're feeling. Lean into it. Process it. Cry if you have to. Scream if you have to. But it's important that you recognize and then accept your grief that you're going through, rather than trying to suppress it or trying to substitute it with something else. If that makes sense. And so because it is okay to feel sad, it's okay to feel anger, during all this numbness. It's okay to feel that during the holidays, if you are in this particular process,
because those are actual steps to processing grief, anger, crying, blame, self-blame, blaming someone else. Those are actual steps toward grief. So don't let anyone make you feel like these emotions that you're trying to process through that you need to stop.
Right. Because
don't allow people to determine how you acknowledge your feelings.
Don't allow people to make you feel like your feelings while you're going through this grief process are invalid.
Yeah, it don't take all that.
No, it's well, you don't.
Like the worst sentence.
It don't take all that. You don't know what it takes.
You don't know what it takes from me,
brother. I'm trying to get through. I'm just trying to make it day by day.
Period.
And it's hard. And you and you're not walking the same path or route that I'm walking in life. So let's be respectful of that.
Yeah.
And then be mindful. But definitely, acknowledge your feelings, your true feelings in terms of what you are feeling while you're going through this.
Yeah, and even with acknowledging your feelings, set realistic expectations, right?
Yes.
Don't make yourself do something that you're not ready for.
Right.
Because when you push too fast past something that you've experienced, you miss the moments of understanding. You miss the moments of really feeling what you're feeling because you're trying to hurry up and get over it.
Right.
So stay in that. Sit in that. Sit in those feelings. Yes. Sit in, I'm not saying don't wallow in it now.
Right.
Sit in it so that you can understand it and you'll know why you're feeling the way that you feel. And you've gotten through those steps of grief and you're not still at the anger or the blame stage of it all.
Right.
Should we have told what the steps are?
Oh no, we're telling them. Yeah, we're telling them. No, I was
talking about steps of grief,
Oh yeah, we're telling them. We're telling them. Set realistic. Excuse me. Set realistic. Well, we're still on number 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still setting realistic.
I'm going to tell them
expectations.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, go right ahead. Because here's the thing: when we talk about setting realistic expectations, here's the thing: the holidays are going to come, and what your holiday looked like last year may not look the same this year. And so you got to be able to make sure that you let go of any kind of pressure that you may be feeling in terms of trying to keep up this particular tradition. Maybe it's time to pivot from that tradition and start something new.
Yeah.
Adjust your expectations regarding regarding it, because especially if it's a divorce type situation, if it's a divorce type situation, go ahead, already know, or just have an expectation, especially if you have children, that it may look different for not just your child or your children, but for you as well.
Yeah.
Because it may be an evening where the kids are with dad or mom now, when last year everybody was together. So that you have to set that realistic.
Try to make it as normal as I'm not gonna say normal. Try to make it as
burdenless, not
stress.
Yes.
Don't it don't have to be as hard as you may want it to be because you're still grieving,
right?
But somewhere in there you have to come back to the real world and realize that if you have children and you're grieving a divorce, you have to understand that you're not the only one grieving that divorce. Your children lost the second parent that will no longer be in the home.
Right.
So you have to be mindful of how you handle your grieving process.
That's true. So
that your children
in front of them. Yes.
So that they can understand how to handle their grief.
Right.
And they can understand that, they'll see that mom and dad knows how this affects them.
So let me ask you this then, because I know you're looking at the where does that, in terms of realistic expectation, what does that fall in terms of the grief process?
See, and now you want my tools.
But I'm asking.
Talking about
the people want to know.
The people want to know what you want to know.
The people want to know. I just want to know what
grief
is
grief and loss stages.
Okay, come on.
Mic on. Hello.
Loud and clear.
So I don't know if this is like the order of how you would feel things, but denial.
Yes.
Anger. Bargaining. Depression. Acceptance. Shock. Guilt. And then it's just saying ways that you can overcome it,
Right.
like grief counseling and things of that magnitude. But those are the emotions: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, shock, guilt.
Right. So, and I'm of course, I was joking with you in terms of that, but I'm glad you read that, because everything that you read, those are emotions that people feel.
Yeah.
Because you can feel all those in 1 hour.
Yeah, like bipolar.
Yeah,
like.
right. You can feel all those in anger, guilt tripping. I could have did more. All these different things, and so
that's why number one was top priority.
Acknowledge
your feelings and how this loss is affecting your life.
Right, and then setting those realistic expectations. Dealing directly with you in terms of how you're going to be feeling, and don't get us wrong. You may wake up and like it's going to be a good day, but if it's a divorce or if it's a death, I mean, if you're a man who once was a husband who's a widow now, he can get a whiff of somebody else's perfume.
Yeah, or and they can take him backwards.
Take him backwards, or vice versa. She could get a whiff of cologne. My husband used to wear that. Or this blanket it still smells like my my child. So there are a lot of things.
Yeah, but the thing about that is, don't allow the pressure to make you feel like you should move faster than what you're moving, or that your feelings are invalid.
Yes, especially when you're grieving.
Don't set your expectations based on the pressures that you're getting from maybe family members, or maybe friends or coworkers or people that are around you on a day-to-day basis. Don't allow them to pressure you into feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
Because you when you acknowledge how you feel and how this has damaged you in a way, then they can't fix that, and they can't determine, in my opinion, if they're not professionals, they can't fix it, and they can't determine how long you should be in this grief process.
I agree.
How long you should be in denial.
I agree.
How long you should be, you should feel guilty.
Right.
Like, other people can't determine that.
No, they can't.
This is all based on your process. How long do you want your process to go? Just make sure that it's being done in a healthy way.
Right, and that's the reason why we are. Of course, we're definitely advocates of you having a personal relationship with the Father, with God, so that you can really lean on Him while you're going through the situation. But also grief counseling as well will help you.
Even support groups.
Yes.
For depending on what type of loss you have.
Yes.
And I think that being around people that are experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing can give you some type of comfort, to know that there are other people out there dealing with this, and to see how they're processing it.
Right.
And who knows, they could help you process what you need to process.
Right. Totally can help you with that. So
next up is
no. I was segueing into the next.
Okay. Create new traditions or modify old ones.
Right.
So if you are, this is a holiday without your parent, your mom, and the tradition is we always went to mom's house, for the holidays. Mom cooked, and we just kind of, corralled around her. And unfortunately, this is a year where she's no longer here.
Right.
So you may need to modify that tradition or create a new tradition. If you have siblings, you and your siblings come together. Y'all meet up at the best cooker's house.
Right. Right.
And just don't be confined to that one tradition, because it'll stop you from coming together as a family.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I hear a lot of people say, Big Mama is the only reason why we have family gatherings. We as a new generation, we're supposed to keep these traditions going or create new ones.
Right.
But it seems like a lot of, the younger generation, they're not trying to create these traditions or even participate in these traditions. so that they can evolve into something even better than what they are. Because we all know Big Mama ain't gonna be around all the time.
Right. That's true. Well, not well to that. Big Mama's not gonna always be around, but then sometimes some of those traditions are a little painful for a lot of
that's why I said maybe
modify them. Or create that new memory. Just do something that kind of looks like passing the mantle. If Big Mama and Big Daddy are gone, then whoever the oldest, on days like this, we make you feel special because you are the patriarch or the matriarch of the family now, so to speak. And so you create those, or you modify it just a little bit. And we're not saying to create something new or modify to forget.
Right, because they can be a part of the new tradition or the modifications that you make. You still want to acknowledge their memory.
Right.
You still want to feel their presence during the holidays. And you can do that through other family members. You can do that through your siblings. You can do that through the grandkids. You can do that, but you don't have to dwell in the loss of Big Mama.
Right.
Celebrate Big Mama and what she did. Look at what Big Mama did.
Yeah,
we
legacy.
still come together as a family, and there's a lineage of our family.
Right. The fact that I'm sitting here across the table from Terry means it says a lot in terms of what Big Mama did.
I knew you was gonna bring up soul food. I was just waiting for you to bring up soul food.
I had to because it was so many different family dynamics. But I also was gonna bring up Almost Christmas.
Remind me.
Danny Glover. The guy from Survivor's Remorse.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So
Gabrielle Union.
Yeah. Now,
Kimberly Elise.
That is it. Now, here's another disclaimer just about this, because all of this, of course, it also depends on your family the dynamics of your family as well, in terms of what has happened. We ain't talking no more for whatever reasons. Sometimes in a lot of families, there's some deep reasons as to why they're not talking anymore. And if Big Mama or Big Daddy was the main reason why these two would always show up, they wouldn't necessarily talk to each other or be cordial, but they were there because they know this is where Big Mama or Big Daddy want us to be. And so now that Big Mama or Big Daddy they're gone, now that's gonna have to be modified. Either we're gonna talk or we're not gonna talk. And some of you may be like, I'm good with not talking to them again. And we can't dive into what they did. We don't have the time. We don't have the time. We ain't got the time. No, that's a whole nother. That's gonna be a whole nother episode.
5 podcast episodes.
Right.
I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't get my words out.
It's all right. What was the next step?
Take care of your body.
So make sure.
I don't know why I've just been kind of fumbling over my words today.
That's okay.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
okay.
you for your grace.
Take care of your body. Why? Because grief can take a toll on your health.
Physically.
Yes, it can.
You can start looking like what you're going through.
Right.
Now, I don't think that, well, let me put it like this. We don't want y'all to take this to the, as if this is the at all, end all. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
Well, these are great tips, but they're not one size fits all, right?
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Wow, I am terrible today.
You're good. You're well. You're totally well.
We want you to understand that some of these may not fit your grief process.
Right.
But some of it may. So we want you to take from these tips and steps what you can, because most importantly, we want you to be healthy, and we want this process to offer you some peace.
Right.
In the end, we want you to be at peace with the loss, because once you become at peace with the loss, you don't forget about the person that you lost. You learn to live with it. You learn to live with it.
Yes.
Grief doesn't disappear. It just becomes more tolerable.
Right.
And you begin to do routines and get into the motions of life. Not to say that you're going to forget about your grandmother or your mom, but you're going to start living your life without them.
Right.
You'll start seeing what life looks like without them.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
God, I feel like I'm rambling. Lord,
so take care, really take care of yourself.
Yeah, make self-care
through the grief process.
Yeah.
Not only that, but then also seek support.
I think that's like so important.
Yes.
Like no matter what you're grieving, no matter what the loss is, like you need a support system.
Right. You don't have to go through this alone. So yeah. And so if it's something that's much more deeper than you needing to be, because don't get me wrong, being around family is healthy. If you're, in a grieving process, being around family is going to be healthy for you.
Yeah,
but
especially during the holidays.
Yeah, but now if it's something deeper than that, then we're definitely like I said earlier, we're advocates for people seeking out professional help. So they can be able to articulate their feelings to someone, and then be able to just completely talk about everything that you're dealing with,
right?
From while you're in this whatever stage of grief that you're in. So we are saying, like, if you need to speak with a counselor or speak to your pastor or whatnot, then definitely speak to them, and just so that you can go through the grief process, and so that your emotions and your feelings can start to get better.
Yeah.
Get better. So seek support.
Get support, and get the type of support that you need, not the type of support that people just want to throw at you.
Right.
Like you can choose how people support you. And if supporting me means allowing me my space, on certain days, like maybe I lost a parent and today's their birthday. Maybe I want to celebrate their birthday in my own way.
Right.
By myself.
You don't need to be alone. But you don't know what.
Allow me that space. Don't isolate yourself, but private time and quiet time and meditation on what you've lost, and if this is their first birthday that you can't call. You know what I mean? Like process it the way you want to process it.
Right.
And don't allow people to just throw any kind of support at you that's not going to even help you anyway.
Right. So, it's helping them more than it's helping you.
Right. They're trying to make themselves feel better. Don't call me because you feel bad.
Right. Right.
I can't take your emotions on top of mine. Let me process my own.
I can't.
And you deal with yours over there.
Right.
Yeah. So honor the loved one that you lost. Now, I can understand this being something that you can do if you lost a parent, a child, or a sibling, or just somebody that was part of your family. But how do you honor somebody that you divorced? Like you have a relationship that is no longer a relationship, and it's the holiday season, and normally this is the time that y'all would go get your matching pajamas, set the Christmas tree up, and all this kind of stuff. All these traditions.
Well, I think this particular step is specifically for someone who has passed on. Lost. Yeah. In terms of that, because I don't see anybody who is going through a divorce who are going to set aside some time on a holiday to honor them.
Well, you could honor the memories.
Okay.
That
what?
You can honor the memories that you had with that person. Sometimes
out loud.
Can I finish?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sometimes I just feel like all this tension coming from my right, and I don't like.
No, I'm just asking.
Loosen that up.
I'm just asking.
Sometimes you can honor the memories as a way of saying it wasn't all bad, and that can help you begin to move forward and to begin to put a positive spin on something that is so negative.
Okay.
So you honor the things that this person brought into your life, and you honor the things that you had with that person, but you understand that it's over and it's time to move past it.
So, but okay, and I'm just asking this question.
Now, this don't have to be no show. This don't have to be no presentation.
Because I was just right. Because
this could be a meditation,
thought process.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be a moment of meditation.
Okay.
This is our first holiday where we're not together.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take this time not the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take this time to meditate on the great things that I remember from this relationship. And I'm going to put myself in position to understand this relationship is no longer.
Okay.
And how that affects my now.
Okay. Okay. I just.
You just don't want to think about them at all.
No, well, I think it's.
Baby say ain't no honor in divorce.
I think it's when it's fresh. I think it's inevitable in terms of you thinking about it. I guess it depends on how you and that individual parted ways in terms of how you honor the memory. Because sometimes if it was a bad divorce, that's I believe that would be the last thing on somebody's mind in terms of trying to, even say out of their mouth, like, well, we had some good times, because I feel like they're going to be feeling like that's going to be them kind of giving them a kudo or something. So that's the reason why I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, but it's not to say, you were such a great person. It's just to say how your time in my life, reflecting on your time in my life, and now understanding that you're no longer in my life. So I honor you for maybe you're the reason or the support system that I had to start my business. So I honor you for that support at that time. And I'm thankful that I had you in my life during that time, because had I not had you in my life during that time, I may not be as far along with this project as I am.
Right. And so this is just in theory and thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying put on a show. I'm not even saying call them.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah.
And make them aware. Yeah. I'm just saying do this for your own sake, because a lot of times when people get a divorce, they focus on the negative. They focus on the fact that you're no longer with that person, and there's no longer two parents in the household. But you have to flip that with a positive, because if you don't, then you're going to always dwell on the negative. You're going to always put yourself in a spiral.
Gotcha.
And so that's kind of an idea to kind of avoid.
Gotcha. I just want to be sure. Next step, and I like this one. Give yourself permission to say no.
No.
Give yourself permission. You don't have to. Just because they call and say you want to come. Well, we know you're there by yourself. Well, thank you for reminding me. But do you want to come? No, I'm good. I am fine.
You don't have to go to every holiday event when you're grieving during the holidays.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't help.
No, you have to be mindful of your own emotional limits, like what you can handle, what you can be, and when we say what you can handle in terms of what you can actually look at and see without getting into a depressed state of mind, because that's where you were last year, or that's where you were 2 years ago. I'm sitting up there looking at my friend and her family, and everybody's together, and mine is just in shambles.
Yeah.
So if you're not ready to just be in that space of really just celebrating, it's okay to say no. No, I'm good.
Say no.
Yeah.
Turn down the invite.
Right.
Yeah. Be mindful, like you said, of your emotional limits, and don't feel guilty about it.
Please don't feel guilty.
No is a complete sentence.
Right.
And if you are not ready, you are not ready.
Right.
Because only you know when you're ready.
Right.
And no one can force you to be what they want you to be.
Right.
You have to be what is good for you, what is healthy for you, and what helps you. Next one. Practice mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Like mindfulness techniques. And
like breathing.
Yeah. Inhaling, meditation.
Yeah.
All that.
Meditation is really good, y'all. Like, a lot of times you can process things that are hard in your life by meditating. Of course, prayer. We are big believers in prayer, and we pray to God daily.
Right.
But God also wants you to sit in silence sometimes and just meditate on what's happening in your life. And if it is a loss of a loved one, sit and meditate on the good memories that you had with that person.
Yeah.
And just, if you have to cry. Do not be ashamed of what emotions come out when you sit and meditate.
Yeah. I always have that that space, or create that space for just that quiet reflection time where you can just sit back and kind of reflect a little bit, think about it, meditate on it, just like Tonja said, just being silent, and just allow that peaceful moment to just really just minister to you individual. I think it's a beautiful thing, because you really get a chance for God to just really sit back and just minister to you, and pour into you. And that's the time that you can really just like we said earlier, express yourself, whether it's verbally, out loud, quietly, just reflecting on all these different things, because you will see yourself in another light. You'll even get a chance, the opportunity to see yourself in a position of doing things differently the next time around. Putting yourself in a space to where you can not only acknowledge your feelings, but be accountable for some of your actions as well, and just while you were going through your grief process. Because sometimes when we lose people to death, sometimes people, they act out in ways that are not very pleasing, and that quiet time really gets them, to get you to a place of just
brings you back to yourself,
brings you back, and so that when you come out of that, you can go back and possibly, if you need to, apologize, you need to, whoever you went on, just all these different, because there are a lot of emotions that comes in with it.
And this is a great way to manage your emotions.
Yes.
Because if you are just like going from self-blame to guilt to denial to you bouncing all over the place with these emotions, sit with yourself and I'm big on understanding how you feeling.
Right.
Do I feel guilty because I was not there? I did not spend as much time with them as I should have.
Right.
And if that's the case, then you need to sit with that, because you can't bury. I said all right, bury. You can't bury guilt and expect your life to be all cookies and cream and flowers and blossoming. That guilt can take a toll on you, and it can even have you sabotaging your life or your relationships with other people.
Yeah, that's true. You have to really acknowledge that part, but then also forgive yourself as well, because you don't want to walk around with unforgiveness in your heart.
Yeah, with these shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Right. When you are the person, you just forgive yourself and do your best to. And when we say things like move on, we're not saying expeditiously move on, but forgive yourself, relieve yourself of that particular feeling, so that you can start making segues to being better, feeling better,
healthy,
and and most importantly, being healthy.
Yeah. So last but not least, remember that grief doesn't have a timeline.
Oh yeah, definitely.
As we stated early on, do not allow people and their expectations to determine when or how you get over this. This
grief doesn't
life-changing experience.
Yeah, grief doesn't get an appointment to ask to say this is when we leaving. It's just it can, as time goes on, it gets better. As time goes on, it gets better.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Healing is a personal journey, and you have to take that journey the way that works for you.
Right. And I can give you an example too. I don't know if I probably talked about this. I know my aunt, she passed away some years back, and my cousin, she called Mama one day, and Mama just answered the phone, and Mama was like, "Hello." And my cousin just got overwhelmed in that moment, because she heard, after, I believe it was after 10 years, she heard her mom in Mama's voice. And she was just like, "I need a moment." And Mama was like, "Oh yeah, I understand." And then when she called back, she was just like, you sound just like so it comes and it goes, but with time, you learn how to really just live life.
You know how to manage it
and manage it, and manage your grief, because you're going to think about it when birthdays and holidays come around. You're going to think about it, especially if their loved one has passed away.
Yeah, my brother passed away over 20 some years ago,
and
I think about him every time his birthday comes, because his birthday is literally a year and 2 days before mine.
Right. So you don't. all the dates from the date that they passed, the anniversary. You think you're newly divorced, and well, nobody was looking at the clock of the calendar. We got divorced, finalized 2 weeks before what would have been our next anniversary. So now you're thinking about that. It's just so it doesn't. It comes, but with tools and resources, and just your connection to God and much prayer and having great relationships, family and friends, that'll help you kind of really with the grief situation. Especially during the holidays. So even though you may be singing Silent Night, it doesn't have to be a silent night for you from a grief standpoint.
And it's okay if you still feel pain. It's okay. Like don't make yourself feel like you shouldn't still feel the hurt and pain that came from the loss that you've experienced. Just one day at a time.
It's one day at a time.
One day at a time, one holiday at a time, one birthday at a time. Just pace yourself and don't push yourself into something that's gonna have you spazzing out later.
Right.
You sit up here, I'm over it, I'm fine. And next thing you know, you done get into it with
everybody
at the holiday house.
Right.
At y'all sitting down having Christmas dinner, and next thing you know, pies being thrown around.
Everything grown. Being thrown. So definitely, y'all, man, we're praying for you guys throughout these holidays. Especially for those who are grieving, we're praying for you, and we're saying, we're not saying, hey, just push past it. We're saying live through it.
We're saying manage it in a way that works for you.
Absolutely,
because everybody grieves differently. Everybody handles loss differently.
Yes, they do.
So and if you are somebody that is around someone that has had a big loss, be mindful of that.
Yes.
Be mindful of the fact that they may not get past this the way that you would.
Right.
And give them their space, and please extend grace where needed.
Right.
So yeah.
So hopefully this episode really touched you guys and really helped, because we definitely want you all to get through these holidays with a smile on your face, and as best as you possibly can, So thank y'all for hanging with us today.
Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank y'all for listening in, and we'll see you guys on next week.
Yep.
Peace
y'all
out.
Have a great Saturday.
See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.